Welcome back. Joining me today is David McLellan, principal at Ridgeway Strategy. David, let's talk about the topic that is on many Canadians' minds, and that's the trade deal with the United States. David, your analysis on how negotiations are going.
I think they're going slowly, and they're going slowly because things are changing. The era of multilateral deals is over. I think the United States has been very clear. This administration, they have a stronger negotiating position going one-on-one. So with the what's known, I think, CUSMA, our original free trade agreement, or NAFTA, they'll negotiate independently with Mexico and independently with Canada, and then try to put together something that superficially looks like a three-way deal. But they're going to say to each country, here's what we're doing, take it or leave it. As the Trump administration likes to say, we have all the cards. And it's unfortunate because it didn't have to be this way, but Canada has painted itself into a corner where they don't have a lot of cards to play that they could have had with different decisions made over a decade ago. We will get a deal. There will be tariffs.
Yeah, interesting. We just need one sooner rather than later. David, if you were tasked with negotiating a deal with the United States, what would you do?
I'm a little bit more controversial. We can't escape the geography. We're next door to them. That's a blessing and a curse. It is the largest consumer market in the world, right? You take the population, but they have more disposable income than anybody. We want to be there. We want to be integrated as much as possible. We have to show them shared prosperity, but convey it in such a way where it doesn't make the president and members of his administration more covetous of, hey, why don't we all just become one big family? That's a pretty tough needle to thread, to show them, hey, we'll all prosper, but let us stay independent. That's a tough one. The one really controversial one that I've talked about in certain groups is water. And I ask anybody, right? What is, by mass, the water content of a tomato? It's 95% water. Grapes, oranges, lettuce, celery, all these things we can't grow in Canada commercially through most of the year. We import them. We import them from California, Arizona. Arizona's shockingly highly productive, but it's water, deficient, to say the least. I believe, and it's, again, I wouldn't want to push it too far because I know it's extremely controversial in Canada, but we start supplying modest amounts of water, and it has to be at a commercial rate. Water is very valuable because without that, their agricultural sector down there really declines.
Wow, interesting points, David. Something I've never thought about. David, this is a part of the show. Every week I ask my guests, if you were a politician, what 3 things would you do to grow jobs in the economy? David, you have the floor. We just have about a minute and a half. What would you do?
You bet. The first thing is entitlement reform. The Harper government tried to move CPP age up by 2 years over time, and I think that would have left it much more solvent. That was reversed. I think they have to get back to that. Most young Canadians who will receive it in the future will recognize I'd rather get something later than nothing at all. Other reforms around what we're spending on healthcare. You have to arrest the growth of the debt, the amount that we're paying in interest payments. So how do you lower that? I think the defense spending is noble. At 5%, it's not achievable. We have to be realistic. I think spending appropriately, but then if you can address the spending, the taxation and regulation have to follow, and those have to be big as well. Canada has to get back to what I believe it was, not what it's become.
Yeah, interesting thoughts, David. I support those. We need to get back to being an economic engine. We're going to have to leave it there. David, thanks so much for joining us with your interesting perspective on the economy, the resource sector, and the brain drain.
Thank you for hosting me. Appreciate it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks to my guest, David McLellan, principal at Ridgeway Strategy. I'm Jocelyn Bamford. Thank you for watching Canadian Innovators. If you're an innovator, tell us your story. Write to us at info@thenewsforum.ca, and we'll see you next time right here on the Newsforum Network.